Hello, 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 everyone. I am Soleil. Welcome to Happy Hour. I hope you guys are all doing good. We will start in just a moment, very shortly. Actually, I'm going to turn my camera off for just a. Okay, I'm back. Hello, hello. Love Leon Thomas, but not right now. Hi, everybody. We are here for Happy Hour. Um, I turned that off. I don't like stuff like that. Creep me out. Hello, everyone. We are here for Happy Hour. I am Soleil. If this is your first time tuning in, I am the Coven Mother of Vision of Dontor. I am the founder and facilitator of the Charm School Mentorship Program. I am your weekly reader, and I'm a dope bitch straight up out of Oakland. Hi. Um, we're doing Happy Hour just slightly different this week. Just a little different. Um, so I couldn't decide between Happy Hour and Astro Hour. I'm gonna tell on myself. And because there is a lot of really juicy astrological energy happening in May, I really wanted to make sure that I wasn't rushing through the information. And then Meg and Klay broke up. So I figured I would just do a little bit of both. We would do a little bit of Happy Hour, a little bit of Astro Hour. It won't hurt us. But I really wanted to talk about astrology just because the full moon is tomorrow. And I didn't want to act like it's not happening, especially because it's in Scorpio, which means it's going to be temperamental. And I figured that a lot of us could really benefit from having advice about the full moon in Scorpio. So we're going to start tonight with my hair's doing a lot of weird stuff. I'm sorry. I've had a hellacious day. I've had a very busy day. As some of you guys know, my birthday was last week, and I took off half of the week. And you would have thought that I took off 3 months from work with as much stuff, and it came up in those 4 days, and is all the catching up that I've been doing. So, if I seem a little out of sorts, it's because yesterday and today have been just insanely busy. But I'm hoping that my schedule will get back to a manageable pace come Sunday. You are so pretty, Mamba Spirit says, let's. Oh, I appreciate you. That's really sweet. Um, so let's go ahead and talk about this full moon in Scorpio, okay? Um, we've talked about full moons and new moons quite a bit on this channel. So at this point, everyone here already knows that when a moon is full, it is a time of release. Now, the crazy thing is, it makes sense that we're talking about this full moon in Scorpio. At the same time, we're going to be talking about things we need to learn from Megan and Klay's breakup, but we'll get to that when the time is appropriate, okay? Um, but yeah, when the moon is full, it's a time of release. It's a time for us to let go. It's also a time of revelation, right? Now, here's the thing. This is not going to be a soft moon, right? Be prepared to have a lot of big feelings. Be prepared to have things rise to the surface that you thought you've gotten over. When the moon is full, when it's in Scorpio, period, but especially when it's full in Scorpio, it's never going to be a soft energy. It's going to be an energy of revelation because Scorpios are about the truth. Scorpios are known as the detective of the zodiac for a reason, right? With this being a time of culmination, exposure, and emotional peaks, with Scorpio's energy being about depth, truth, power, intimacy, and the revelation of secrets, there's going to be a lot that's coming up. Scorpio doesn't ask what feels good. It asks what's real. It asks what's true. If you all know Scorpios in your life, you know that Scorpios, even the ones who believe that they are deeply loving, don't know how to give a fuck about other people's feelings, right? So again, this is a moon that is about exposure and revelation. And some of the revelation that we are going to be receiving may not feel good, but it is necessary in order to clear the space for it, right? Now, what makes a Scorpio full moon different than other moons? You have to, again, if any of you all have gotten astrological work from me, you guys know I talk about polarities a lot. So we have to talk about what Scorpio is in opposition to. We have to talk about its polarity a little bit in order to stand how this is different, right? Scorpio is in opposition to Taurus. Hello, Taurus family, right? And so there is a tension between these signs, right? The tension between security, Taurus, and transformation and risk, Scorpio. The tension between comfort, Taurus, and truth, progression, Scorpio, right? This particular full moon is really going to have us grappling between what we are tied to emotionally and what is going on in our material reality, right? And again, remembering that Taurus is the sign of value, Scorpio is a water sign, it deals with deep emotions. There's going to be a tension there between the things you are emotionally tied to, the things you are emotionally invested into, and what actual your material reality is showing you as a result, right? So don't be surprised if tomorrow and the days following after the full moon, you are really grappling between, or not grappling, navigating between what you feel versus what you've been holding on to. What you feel versus what you've been holding on to. Now, why is what you've been holding on to coming up to? Well, Tauruses hold grudges. We don't let shit go. Most Tauruses, even the very clean ones, are pack rats. They are hoarders, right? Whether it's hoarders of memory or hoarders of things, collectors of things, right? They love an antique. And right now, you are going to be asked or forced to look at, okay, are my feelings rooted in my material reality, or are they the result of things that I'm holding on to from the past, from old environments, etc., right? So a lot of people during this time are going to be realizing where they feel controlled or where they feel drained because of what they have a difficulty with letting go of from the past. Okay? Now, that talks about the polarity and how that polarity, that opposition of Taurus, brings us to a place of energetic accountability, energetic and emotional accountability, right? So now that we've talked about that for a little bit, let's talk about some of the core themes related to full moon in Scorpio, okay? One of the first major themes that comes up when the moon is full in Scorpio is exposure, okay? Again, Scorpios are the detectives of the zodiac. They love to get into other people's business. They love to really delve into the psyche of a thing, right? What makes it move and tick psychologically. Do not be surprised if your secrets come out or the secrets of other people around you are revealed, right? Again, because Scorpios like to expose things. They like to put things on blast. They like to drag what is hidden into the light, right? Don't be surprised if around you some people's masks drop, right? Again, if you've been dating somebody and you're hitting that 9-month mark, it's between 6 and 9 months that we really see who a person is, right? That their mask starts to fall off. So anybody who has been, whether it's a romantic relationship, whether you have a new friendship developing, if you started a job 6 or 9 months ago, this weekend is going to be really important for you because whether it's your supervisor, whether it's the person you're dating, whether it's the person that you believe is a good friend or a mentor, do not be surprised if their mask starts to drop, right? This is around the time where people's representative gets really tired and who they really are shows up. Illusions are going to break under the full moon in Scorpio. So those of you who may have been trying to move a particular way to hide certain things about your life, about what you're dissatisfied with, you're not going to really be able to do that under this full moon, right? The exposure of a full moon in Scorpio, it's not something that people are looking for. That's why it's so uncomfortable. So a lot of the exposure and the truths that get revealed during this time, you are not necessarily going and looking for them. You're not. But truth is going to find you. Truth is going to find you. It's going to reveal itself to you, because that is literally what this full moon is about. Now, again, we talked earlier about the emotional intensity of Scorpio, right? So this is also going to be a full moon that deals a lot with emotional intensity. I remember I was working with an astrologer a couple of years ago, and they said something that has always stuck with me. And they said, you have to remember that a Scorpio or a scorpion is a bug, right? Everything that people say about them is true. They're deeply powerful. They are majestic. They have venom that is sharp, that can take people down. Scorpions are very, very powerful and majestic, but they are still bugs. What does that mean? Bugs are small and insecure, and they are paranoid about their position in the world. And why are bugs paranoid? Because if you're a bug and you wander into the wrong space, a human can step on you and crush you. So even though Scorpios are powerful, there's a deep paranoia that lives within them, and that comes up in their emotional intensity quite often, because they're afraid of being stepped on. They're afraid of being overshadowed. They are afraid of being dominated, right? So I'm bringing this up, what this astrologer said to me, because I hope that it gives you context into the emotional intensity that is marked by a full moon in Scorpio. Yes, you will have heightened sensitivity, but your emotional triggers are also going to be extremely sensitive. Paranoia is going to be rampant tomorrow and in the 48 hours after the full moon. Okay? So if you have Scorpio placements, whatever you need to do to check yourself around your paranoia, whatever you need to do to manage your triggers, please try to do that. Hey, Shaka Raka. Hey, Amore, good to see you. Right? And this is going to be really important to manage your triggers, manage your paranoia, especially with this full moon in Scorpio right now that is happening tomorrow, because what is also going to be happening at the same time, old wounds are going to resurface, right? So think about this. You have this astrological sign, Scorpio, that's very powerful, but very, very paranoid. And the full moon is there. And while this is going on, old wounds are going to resurface. What can be a response in terms of old wounds resurfacing or things being triggered? Paranoia, thinking everybody's out to get you. It's not a healthy way to move, right? So try to use the Scorpio intensity around discovery of self and looking at your habits, and not lean into that debilitated Scorpio intensity that shows up as a paranoia and an assumption that everybody's out to get you, because that will only make things worse for you, right? You don't want to romanticize this dynamic, right? Because once that paranoia and that assumption that everybody's trying to harm you comes out, especially if you have Scorpio placements, what do Scorpios do? They strike, they release their venom, and then they use their paranoia as justification for why they harmed people. This is why I brought up the fact that a Scorpio is a bug. Scorpions are bugs. They are paranoid, deeply afraid of being stepped on. And the venom that you release, you can't take it back. So make sure that you're moving from what you know to be true and not your paranoia over the next 48 hours. Because you may do some damage that you regret and you can't take back. Scorpios are also very much all about power and control. And that is something that will be tapped on during this full moon in Scorpio. So some of the things that may come to light for you, questions around who or what has control over you, right? Where may you be overextending yourself in your life because you think that that overextension, that overwork will be rewarded with an increase in power or an increase in control? It won't. Unfortunately, it won't. This is the Taurus polarity that pisses Scorpio off, coming in to let you know overextending yourself will not, that will not bring you closer to power. It won't. So be careful not to do that thinking that it will, right? Now this goes in all areas of life, relationship, spiritual community, where you work. Be careful around overextending yourself. Be careful around, if you find that there is revelation around areas of life where you are power hungry, check that. Check that, because that power hungry dynamic ends up being the downfall for Scorpio quite often. Okay, so be careful. But again, full moon, right? We want to bring this back to, yes, it's happening in Scorpio, but it's still a full moon. So this is about release, right? And Scorpio is asking us to look at what we need to let go in terms of unhealthy or dead attachments. What is the dead weight in your life you need to let go of, right? Where may there be toxic dynamics or relationships? And what are you doing to position yourself to let them go, right? Where may you have some survival patterns that may have functioned for you at one point in your life, but they're actually not helping you anymore? They're actually causing hindrances, right? Full moon in Scorpio really asks us to reevaluate our survival patterns. I'm probably going to regret drinking an energy drink at 8 o'clock at night, but I got so much stuff to do. So Scorpio doesn't release lightly. When it finally does release, it releases completely. So that's the good thing about this full moon. Are the things that you are being called to evaluate and look at heavy? Absolutely. But if they have been things that you've struggled with letting go of for a while, remember that when Scorpio does finally release, when they finally do fucking let go, they do it completely. So if you can harness the energy of this Scorpio full moon to release completely, it will actually benefit you tremendously. So some of the ways that this shows up in your life, in terms of the energy of the Scorpio full moon, truths about your relationships are going to surface, right? That friend that you've been on the fence about, that you've been having to guess about, you won't have to guess about them anymore after this full moon in Scorpio. That job that you haven't felt passionate about, you'll understand either what you need to do to reignite that passion or where you need to go next. But the exposure in terms of the truth of your relationships and what you've been holding on to is going to be really, really strong, right? Unhealthy financial entanglements, right? Remembering that Scorpio deals with shared property, right? Taurus, the polarity is about personal values, what we value, but Scorpio is very much about shared property and contracts, right? So any financial entanglements that have been complicated or sloppy are going to become clear under this full moon, and you will proceed. If you've been doing your veneration, you've been talking to your spirits, you will receive information about what it is you need to do next, okay? Spiritual manipulation gets exposed. So any relationships or areas of life where people have been using spirituality to confuse you, to bring confusion into your life, to control you, to cause manipulation, that will be revealed while full moon is in Scorpio. You may also have some sudden emotional realizations, right? And it may be heavy, but it feels powerful, right? That sudden realization of, damn, I'm the only person in my partnership that's trying to make this work. Is that painful? Yes, but it gives you an opportunity to let go and let go completely, okay? So if something feels intense right now, please be gentle. Don't feel a need to rush to fix it. Water energy is not about rushing, right? And Scorpio is a water sign. It's the water of a glacier, which is unyielding, but it's still water, right? Which does not need to be rushed. It's about using the revelation to understand how to fix instead of trying to come up with solutions immediately, right? So some things, you guys, especially though I know a lot of you guys are little ritual addicts. God forbid a full moon go by and you don't do a ritual, right? For those of you who may be trying to do rituals, some of the things you need to focus on and think about, this is a perfect time for uncrossing work. This is a perfect time to get some energy off of you. If you're not on my Patreon, consider joining my Patreon so that you can watch our class from last week where I instruct and teach everybody on how to make an uncrossing laundry rinse, right? This is a time to strengthen your protections. This is also a great time for any kind of cord cutting or energetic cleansings. Get your Olympias, right? This is a great time for that. Those are some of the things you can be focusing on. But what you really want to avoid under this full moon in Scorpio is reacting impulsively. And debilitated Scorpios have that bad. They will lash out, strike out, and then act like someone else is wrong because they're upset that they got stung. This is not a time to sting people, okay? Be careful and be mindful of your emotional reactions, your impulsivity, okay? This is also not a time to try and control outcomes. Again, Scorpios are about control. The more you try to control a person or try to control an outcome, the more they will end up feeling like you are the thing that needs to be let go of in their life, okay? So be careful, right? Do not overshare your vulnerabilities with unsafe people. I'm going to repeat that again. Do not share your vulnerabilities with unsafe people. Now, this is important to remember because we've already established that the revelations you receive during this full moon in Scorpio are going to be heavy. A lot of y'all who are watching either live and a replay love y'all down, but y'all can't hold water for shit. The second you have an uncomfortable feeling, you want to talk and run your mouth and get it outside of you. Fight that urge. Okay? Because the nature of your revelations can be weaponized against you by people who don't mean you well later. So, yes, get vulnerable in your journaling, in your prayers, in your meditation, but this is not a time to overshare your vulnerabilities with unsafe people. Okay? Let me take down this comment about me being pretty. It makes me feel arrogant. Everything that is revealed to you under this full moon in Scorpio is not information that you need to be sharing with other people. In fact, a lot of these revelations are meant to be private. Just heard ringing and I saw an aura. Okay, so I know what I'm saying is right. A lot of the information that's being revealed to you is for your safety. So if you run and tell people, especially people who gossip, people who are jealous of you, people who are hiding secret resentments, if you run and tell those things to them, do you think that's going to keep you safe or do you think that they're going to weaponize that against you? So strengthen your ability to sit with the things that are revealed to you so that you don't have to worry about whether or not somebody's safe, okay? But that's everything. That's everything about the full moon in Scorpio that I think is really important for you guys to be aware of at this time. Remembering that the things that are revealed to you during this full moon in Scorpio, though they may be heavy, they are being revealed. Hello, Sylvia. Good to see you. They are being revealed so that you can be free, right? They are being revealed for your transformation, right? And I know I've gone hard on Scorpios a little bit tonight, but that's just me being honest because I want you guys to understand how this full moon is going to feel. But part of their strength is that they are about transformation. They are about that death card moment where you get to leave behind the old version of yourself and awaken into something that is new and much more powerful. That is the power that you should be focused on gaining during a full moon in Scorpio. Not gaining power over other people, not trying to control outcomes and outcomes or situations, right? But trying to control your inner self so that you can be the strongest version of yourself in this moment of transformation. All right? You don't survive Scorpio energy by avoiding it. You survive it by being honest with it. Honest with yourself, honest with the energy. Okay? Now, I do have a full moon spread that I'm going to offer to people if anybody wants to get a reading tonight, but Again, this is happy hour. I know I'm doing astrology, but this is happy hour, so let's talk some shit. Meg and Klay. Megan Pete, also known as Megan Thee Stallion, and Klay Thompson had a breakup this weekend. I'm disappointed in Megan. I'm very, very sorry. I have to be honest, and I'm saying this as a huge Megan Thee Stallion fan. I love Megan Thee Stallion since the first time I saw her freestyling in those red pants in somebody's cul-de-sac out in Texas, okay? I love her. I've been a huge fan since I came across her in 2018. Now, I've seen a lot of things about her as a woman that give me pause and make me question, but I love her musically and I want to see her win. I am not a sports person, so I can't tell you nothing about that light-skinned man. All I know is that he used to play for the Warriors and he's on another team now. But I wish him the best. I don't wish ill on nobody, okay? We were all minding our business this weekend and Miss Pete decided to get on the internet and tell us that Klay has been cheating on her and that he now has cold feet in this relationship, okay? Megan apparently was so hurt by what she learned about this man that she has quit a dream job being on Broadway in Moulin Rouge in a groundbreaking position. She has decided that she's going to quit this opportunity. And the Taurus in me is disgusted. The Taurus in me is disgusted. I will repeat, the Taurus, the Venusian energy in me is pissed off. You gonna let a man make you pass up a bag? You gonna let that light-skinned motherfucker make you pass up money, Megan? For real? That's what we're doing in 2026? We're letting men who don't know how to control themselves, who don't have no dick discipline, we're letting them fuck up our money? Broadway can open up all kind of acting gigs, all kind of opportunities for you, Meg and Pete. That is my number one lesson that I want all of us to learn from the Meg and Klay situation. I don't give a fuck how broken your heart is. Don't you let it fuck up your money. And you may not be on Megan's level. You may not be on Broadway. Bitch, you better go to the bathroom and cry real quick and dry your eyes and get your ass back to that cubicle and get your check on time. We are not letting breakups impact our money. Not in 2026, not in this economy. In addition to that, I'm going to be really honest. I don't know Klay Thompson, so please don't understand. This is not me being a sports fan. And the fact that I'm even siding with a man right now is pissing me off. Megan is 31. Megan Thee Stallion is 31 years old. Why am I bringing this up? I think that a lot of us, because we were introduced to her so young, we have a tendency to forget that this is a grown titty woman. A grown titty woman. 31 years old. We should not have found out about that breakup the way that we did. At some point, Megan, you have to start keeping your relationships private. You should not have ran to the internet and put that up the way that you did. But you did it, and now here we are. And now we're in the unfortunate situation where the same thing that happens to you, baby girl, every time you overshare your life happens to you. These nig sales and manosphere niggas come out of the woodworks and start dogpiling on you and acting like you deserve to have your heart broken. I don't think anybody deserves to have their heart broken. I'm saying this as a Taurus and a softie. I've had breakups with people that I didn't want to be with, and because they broke up with me first, it put me into a depression. Now that's my Leo rising, because how dare you leave me first? So I get it. I get that it's painful, but why did you have to run to the internet to share that? It made you look crazy. And I think that we live in this era where we got to air everything out. We got to share everything. That's why I mentioned what I said about the Scorpio full moon. Yes, you get a revelation. Keep your vulnerabilities to yourself. Megan, you should have kept that to yourself. You should have kept that to yourself. You should have processed it with your homegirls and your therapist. And you should have waited a couple of weeks to let us know what was going on. I hate the way you're being talked about. I hate the way you're being dogpiled on it. But we got to be, people treat us the way that we let them treat us. And you introduce this to the world. Knowing how niggas are. Baby, you got to start moving like a woman who's 31. And going back to age, Klay Thompson is 37, 38. Megan is 31. I've always been unnerved with how quickly they moved. Why are you guys buying houses together? You haven't been together for a full year. If y'all started dating in July and y'all breaking up in May of the following year, April of the following year, I'm no mathematician, but I know that July to May is not a full year. That's not a full year. Why are you buying houses together? Why are you naming boats and property and cars and shit after one another? The relationship moved way too fast. We have to slow down. You can't be out here playing house with everybody. Because at some point you may forget that y'all are playing and the other person hasn't forgotten that this is a performance, right? We talk too much. She really is being dogpiled on, and it was avoidable. It was completely avoidable. Because she didn't need to tell us what was happening. She could have grieved on her own, dealt with it on her own, and just released a public statement a few weeks from now and showed up on a red carpet somewhere with some new nigga. This is a woman who is set. What's the lyric in Captain Hook? Don't worry about me, I got new dick. Girl, just show up with somebody else in a few weeks. And you can cry and break down and all that stuff in private. But we didn't need to know this, right? That was already supposed to be the last show for one. No, there are people that it was supposed to go on for a couple more weeks. And there are people that bought tickets for the next week or so thinking she was going to be there and she's not going to be there. So it's a lot of people that are upset. That wasn't just the last show. It was a few shows. Yeah, she quit 3 weeks. I see your next comment. Yeah, she quit 3 weeks early. Think about all those people. So I'm the type of person that will fly across the country or will fly to another state to go see a show. I remember a couple years ago, me and a friend had to drive to South Carolina to see Cat Williams because he wasn't going to be in Atlanta, right? So I will travel for performances. Imagine, and Broadway is expensive. Imagine you done spent anywhere between a few $100 to a couple $1,000s for a ticket to go see Megan, and now you don't get to see her because Klay Thompson is a whore. It just doesn't make any sense. But I want to talk a little bit about, enough about Megan. We need to talk about Klay. I am of the belief that there is nothing cute about being a man who is in your late 30s, early 40s and struggling with commitment. I'm going to repeat it. I don't think that there is anything that is cute about being a man who is in your late 30s, early 40s and struggling with commitment. I don't think it's cute when you move that way when you're in your 20s. I think we give men way too much leeway in terms of being sexually reckless, right? With their bodies, with their energies and their auras. And we say that it's just boys being boys. But I think that they're socialized to do that. And it actually harms them in ways that they don't even understand until they're 55, 60, in their fourth or fifth marriage, or they're in their 70s with no one coming to see them in a fucking convalescent hospital, right? I think that one of the biggest downfall, and I'm not going to say just black men because I see clients of all racial backgrounds. It's men in general. Men in general need to get better about their sexual discipline. And I think there's a way that when it comes to sports stars, we just have this narrative of, oh, they are young and they have a lot of money, they can do whatever they want. It doesn't translate well into other fields. It really doesn't. Your basketball career is going to come to an end at some point. You will be evaluated on your discipline and your ability to commit to someone or something. Most CEOs are married men. When you look at the top earners and people who work in Fortune 500, people who have strong careers, they are married men who have conquered discipline. It's not a good look. I don't think that there's anything cute. And watching these idiots like academics and Cameron say, oh, we knew Klay was a real nigga. First of all, stop embarrassing yourself. Because why are you defining being a real nigga or a real man by the ability to hurt and cheat on women? Why is that your definition of manhood? But I think the thing about Klay that I want us, especially the women who are watching, I know it's a couple of guys watching, but the women who are watching, because I think that this is how Megan had the game fucked up, and I've seen other women get this fucked up too. Lames are promiscuous. The nerd will break your heart. Lames also lack dick discipline. It's never as simple, oh, I'm just going to go get a quiet guy, I'm going to go get a nerdy guy. Because here's the thing. All you're going to do is be more hurt because you went and settled for somebody who is completely misaligned with you, who's completely out of your standards and what you really want. And then you're getting the same poor behavior from them that you would have gotten from somebody else, right? So pay attention to things like character, not just that they can buy you something. How are they treating you? Don't just get wrapped up in their status. I think Megan, like a lot of these other girls, wanted to be the cute rapper chick that had a basketball boyfriend, and that's all she zeroed in on. And she ended up being with this guy who, I don't care how nice Klay is, that's not, they didn't look like they belonged together. It just didn't match. I think he kind of love bombed her a little bit too. Why would he buy a house with her if he knew he wasn't ready to commit? He took the Bentley back supposedly. It apparently wasn't his name. I agree 1,000%. Love bombing is something that is, I've been listening to a lot of nigga podcasts recently, and men think that shit is cute. They think it's funny. They think being able to love bomb a woman into submitting to them is actually funny. It's extremely frightening and narcissistic. But I agree with you. And I was one of those people that was like, this is moving a little too fast. Something and milk ain't clean. This is not going to end well. It's not going to end well. They moved way, way too quickly. The rappers turned gossip girls were loud, strong, and wrong this week. I don't know if they were wrong necessarily, some of them. Life is better for her when she kept things private. These rapper girlies always want to be so hard, but can't recognize their male identification. Again, talking about the full moon in Scorpio, the exposure of performance versus reality. Megan, like a lot of these people, they're not living their lyrics. Based on her lyrics, she should have been able to see a lot of this better, right? But that's the reality of the situation. But yeah, I think there are some powerful lessons here about discernment when dating. Some important lessons here about discernment when dating. I don't, to my detriment, not to my detriment, it's to my benefit. I've had whole entire relationships with niggas, and people who don't know me or who don't pick up the phone to talk to me or who don't have access to my life wouldn't know it, because if all you're doing is checking my Instagram You're never going to know that part of my life. You're never going to know that. I think that there's a really particular way that we have to break out of this illusion and this obsession with couple goals, right? Because most people are only going to be putting the highlight reels from their relationships on social media. Because she admitted that he had been verbally abusing her during his basketball. I was about to say football. Y'all caught that? During his basketball season. And we wouldn't have known that until she said something, right? Because what are they putting on social media? They're putting the gifts. They're putting them in matching outfits. They're putting pictures of her in sexual positions posed next to him, right? Social media is not reality. And we have to be careful because not only do we not know what's going on in somebody's life because they're presenting a highlight reel, if we don't check ourselves, we will project compatibility onto aesthetics. The amount of back dipping and flexibility and stretching and reaching everybody has been doing to make it seem like they were a matched couple, no, they've always been misaligned. They never made sense. But people, based on their fandom, projected a lot of compatibility onto this relationship, right? So even for us, asking ourselves, okay, what did we assume about this relationship before the breakup? Right? We thought that they were on their way to marriage just because he went out and bought a house. Apparently, you can buy a house with a bitch and not even be committed to them. That's crazy to me. That is insane. But apparently it happened. And break the compulsion of sharing so much online. Yeah, they shared way too much. Way too much. But I want to go back to this love bombing point that Omo Moare brought up because I think it's important. And even though we watched it happen in real time with the celebrity couple, I think that due to the prevalence of dating apps and social media in general, we struggle with the speed of modern intimacy in general. We move way too fast in our relationships. I have spoken to people that have been pregnant by somebody and didn't know the motherfucker's middle name. We move way too quickly in intimate relationships in this day and age, right? And even though a lot of high profile people move really fast due to their lifestyle and their access, this is a mirror of everyday dating too. Why are you moving in with people that you've known for less than 6 months? Why are you letting people sign things in your name that you've been with for less than a year? The speed is almost like a shortcut. And here's the thing, when it comes to relationships, shortcuts are not a good thing. You will shortcut your way into being a relationship with somebody who likes to knock your head between the washer and the dryer on Saturdays. You will shortcut your way into being in a relationship with somebody who's a gambling addict. Next thing you know, your children don't have no fucking college fund. I think it's really important that people give themselves permission to move a little bit more slowly when they're dating. And stop trying to skip steps because it's in the skipping of those steps that you don't get to know somebody. I feel like there could have been a conversation that they could have had 7-9 months ago whenever they started dating. That could have made it clear. Again, if she were moving from discernment and not what she wanted, she would have been able to see, okay, this is a nigga that just wants to play house with me. He's not really serious. But when you get so wrapped up in the getting of a thing and the outcome and what it looks like, you can skip steps. And that's not healthy. That's not good. Time is a spiritual vetting tool. I'm going to say it again. Time is a spiritual vetting tool. Earlier when I was talking about the dropping of the masks during Scorpio full moon, remember that I said that when you date somebody, it's between 6 and 9 months where the mask starts to slip off? Time is a vetting tool. These niggas have only been dating for 9 to 10 months. So I'm not surprised that it's falling apart. Because again, it's during that period of time between the 6th and the 9th month that you start to realize, I don't really like this motherfucker. Why he snore like that? If the dishes are already clean in the dishwasher, why is he leaving them in there? Why don't he put them in the cabinet? Whatever the things are that piss you off, right? Why do you wait until there's only one roll of toilet paper left? Nigga, you knew you were running low on toilet paper. You could have, whatever the things are that are bothering you, those are the things that get exacerbated in 6 to 9 months. So if you done move somebody into your house at the 6th month, and it's months 7, 8, and 9 that you realize that they're not for you, you already fucking screwed. Let time be a spiritual vetting tool. And stop trying to skip steps, because in that skipping of steps, it will really, really screw you over, right? Chemistry will have you committed to a stranger. This is why we got to focus more on compatibility than chemistry. Chemistry fades. Also, taking time to understand the difference between alignment versus attraction. Do I think that these are people that were genuinely attracted to each other? Absolutely. Megan Thee Stallion is fucking gorgeous. That woman is beautiful. Klay Thompson is not my cup of tea, right? He's not the he's not the kind of coffee I like. But, you know, he is very tall. He has symmetrical features. I think for a lot of people, they look at him and they see an attractive man, a man with clear skin who's tall, has a lot of money. I think that their attraction was genuine. But are they aligned energetically? No. And I'm not saying that to be mean because I don't know them individually. I know that it's hard to know if you are aligned with another person enough to have that level of commitment when you ain't fucking been together a whole 9 months. Right? So attraction is about the body having an ego response to another person. Alignment is about shared values, timing, emotional capacity. Is your life going in the same direction as another person? And I see this happen a lot where people get into these relationships because they're attracted to a person and then they try to force alignment. And when you try to force alignment, that never works. It leads to resentment. Somebody has to abandon themselves in order to make things even function. It's just not worth it. So part of us dating as grown-ass adults, we got to be focused on alignment over attraction. I'm so upset with her. She was trying way too hard to make the family that she lost. She got to learn how to be her own company. I'm going to give her some grace around that. As somebody who lost their mother, and as somebody who was a mother's girl, that is a difficult thing to figure out. What does it look like to create family once the person you found family in is no longer around, right? So I do agree that she does have to learn how to be her own company, but and I do think that she was trying too hard to make his family his. And that is a thing we got to be careful about. It becomes dangerous when we try to make our partner's family our family, and it becomes dangerous when we try to make our friend's family our family. Because the second that that partner or that friend wants to betray you, you now have a built-in set of flying monkeys that don't give a fuck about you. So it is dangerous. And I do think she was trying too hard with those people. But I also don't want her to give up on the idea of creating a family, because part of being adult is creating a family, right? The commitment of covenant runs deeper than the commitment of blood. And so I don't want her to lose faith on having a family, but I do agree that she needs to learn how to be her own company. I don't think Megan has ever really been out of a relationship, right? And so that's another thing. The part for me that hurts for her is that piece of her that longs for a family, no longer having her parents. He pulled his family into there. A lot of men do that. A lot of men, especially men who don't have a lot of swagger, will use their families to rope women in. There are a lot of men. I don't even fuck with my older brother, but my older brother was one of those people. If he dated you for 3 days or if he dated you for 3 years, he was going to bring you around my mama, because my mama was a light and my mama was literally a living angel, right? And so especially if you're dating somebody who either doesn't have a mother or who has issues with their mother, and you bring her around somebody like my mama, he had girlfriends that literally said out of his own mouth, I'm ready to stop fucking with him, but I don't want to give up on, and I'm not going to say my mama's name because that's, y'all don't need to know, right? So there were women that would put up with my brother just to stay around my mama. Men will use their families to rope somebody in and get them hooked. Klay is not the first person to do it, and he won't be the last. I absolutely think that his family was part of the hustle. I agree with you, Nicole and Aisha. I do. We talking about Meg and Klay. We're talking about Meg and Klay. There's one more point I want to bring up about them in terms of discernment when dating. And then after that, we're going to do readings and wrap up for the night, because I've had a long day. You guys probably see me like making weird facial expressions because I do have a migraine coming on a little bit. I want to talk a little bit more about the role of privacy when dating. And I mentioned earlier that a lot of people in my life who don't talk to me, the people who talk to me directly and who have my number and who are part of my life, they know my life. But if you are a stalker or a surveiller or whatever you want to call it out on social media, and you're trying to gather information about my life through social media, you will fail miserably. I will never and have never put a person that I'm dating on my social media. I won't do it. Because here's the thing. Your relationship is your business, right? And especially if you are a person that is dating for marriage or for commitment, the standards in your relationship have to be your standards. And the second that you start putting your business in everybody else's faces, they're going to have opinions about it. And their opinions are going to be based off of their own experience as well as their own projections. Okay? Public relationships come with a lot of performance pressure. It could be they probably had days where they didn't like each other, but they had to get on those red carpets and smile anyway. It was probably days where she wanted to cuss that nigga smooth clean the fuck out, but she had to get online in her panties and open up a bunch of laboo-boos and shit. Right? Once your relationship becomes public and other people start putting their expectations on your relationship, that turns into pressure. There's no way to avoid it. So the best way to avoid that is to date privately. Period. Normal people will perform relationships online. I had somebody in my life, former friend, don't fuck with her anymore, but I remember her saying out of her mouth that she will sit in the house and look like shit and probably have had an argument with her husband. But as long as she finds enough time in the week to throw a wig on and take pictures that she can put on Instagram, she really don't care. Because as long as she can make it look like things are fine to other people, it is what it is. Think about how many people who you're looking at on social media and you may be coveting what you think they have as a perfect life. And they have far from that. There are so many people that are more invested in putting a performance on to make it seem like they have something good rather than figuring out what they need to do in terms of their actions and their character to make their relationships good. And this is why we can't get wrapped up in social media, right? It's really important that we ask, are we dating a person or are we dating the idea of being seen with them? If you put way too much energy into your relationship in terms of what it looks like to other people and not how you're connecting with that other person, that is a problem. And respectfully, I think that that's what they were doing. Because how could you not know that he wasn't a monogamous person? Even if he wasn't honest with you about it, any little bit of discernment, any little bit of actually listening to one another would have gave you some sort of hint or insight that things were not aligned. But I think that respectfully, and this is all alleged, I don't know these people, I think that she was more invested in showing people that she could keep a man, showing people that she was worthy, that despite what everybody says about her around Tory Lanez and her past, that she is worth being committed to. And so she ignored, like we all do, ignored a lot of what was trying to be revealed to her so that she could see alignment and focusing on what was going to help with her performance. So let's learn from this. Let's not be that way ourselves, right? We can dogpile on her. We can talk shit about Klay. But what are we learning about from what we're watching? And I hope that we're learning things that make us a little bit more deliberate in how we date. Pretending to have peace instead of protecting your peace is wild. No, thank you. You would be surprised how many people do that. You would be surprised how many people are sitting there taking pictures and matching sweaters with people that pop them in the head on Sunday nights. You would be surprised with how many people are invested in making it seem like they're CEOs of companies when they don't have nowhere to fucking live. People, the internet is full of people that are more invested in performance than they are in peace and authenticity. Your descriptions are taking me out, not Labubu's. No, there is a video of her in her panties opening up the Labubus that he bought her. I am very descriptive, but I can't take ownership of that. I was just repeating something that I literally saw. She went to Tory. She sent Tory to jail. Niggas wasn't trying to fool with her. Did she send Tory to jail or did Tory send himself to jail? Because as somebody who is a resident of California, I know that's a weird way to explain this, but yeah, I am irritated with that narrative because I'm from California and I know how gun laws work in California. So he was going to go to jail anyway because he shouldn't have had that fucking gun, right? She lied. Yeah, she lied, but they also... Bratal, I am from California. If you sniff gun in California, they are going to press charges against you. So did she get on that stand and lie? I'm not taking that away from her. But the nigga was going to go down for that case, period, because he had a gun on him, right? She was out of line. I'm not siding with her. But thank you. Thank you so much, Oma Morare. The state of California pressed charges, not her. So what would have happened? Was she supposed to not go in and testify out of allegiance to him? If she would not have testified, she would have gotten in legal trouble. So I understand what people are saying, but California gun laws ain't no fucking hoe. Why do y'all think I moved to the South? Yeah, so I really need people to stop saying that she sent Tory to jail. That nigga was going to end up in jail regardless. With the shit that he was doing. Like, everybody acts like that situation existed in a vacuum. Tory was going around fighting people and wielding guns and doing all kind of goofy shit that he shouldn't have been doing in LA of all places up until that happened. So she's not responsible for him being in jail. He is. His actions put him there. Anyway, we are at the end of the conversation. If anybody would like a full moon reading, go ahead and send your love offerings. I have a full moon reading for the full moon in Scorpio. It's called what is it called? It's called the Venom and the Medicine Spread. So it's going to talk about what is going to be revealed to you during the full moon in Scorpio and how that revelation turns into medicine. Okay, so if you are interested in the reading, go ahead and send your love offering and then put a comment in the comment section. I was trying to fight to remember his name. He fought August Alsina after all that happened. So this nigga was going around having physical fights and doing all kind of illegal shit. He was going to end up in jail no matter what. People can blame Megan because she did lie. She lied a lot. She lied about fucking him. She lied about the timeline. She lied about him saying dance, bitch. She lied about a lot of stuff. But also, had she not spoke at all, he was going to end up in jail because it's California and it's a gun. Okay? Nicole wants the full moon reading. All right, Nicole, I got you. If anyone else would like a full moon reading, go ahead and submit your love offering to either my Cash App or my PayPal, both of which are scrolling below. And then once I receive your love offering, I will go ahead and do your reading, okay? So some of you guys are still sending gifts to my from my Amazon wish list. Thank you. Thank you. My birthday was more than a week ago, so you don't have to keep doing it. But I'm not going to stop you if you want to be generous, but thank you. Somebody sent me this Lightseers Tarot, and I want to thank you because I mentioned that I lost mine a while ago, and I'm grateful to have a new one. But I didn't get a name in the package. So if you can tell me who you were, let me know so that I can thank you. I was able to thank Chantel last week. Whoever sent this to me, please let me know so that I can say thank you. But now let's see what this full moon in Scorpio has in store for Nicole. Ancestors, angels, Ascended Masters, spiritual walk with me, elevated ancestors. What wisdom does Nicole need about the full moon in Scorpio? What is the venom that will be revealed? And how does this venom turn into medicine for her? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. Card fell out, so I'm going to use that as the first one. It's just a full moon reading tonight, Bertal. Unless you have, it's full moon readings and general readings. So if anyone has a general question, they're more than welcome to get that answered. But the only structured spread I'm offering is the venom and the medicine or the full moon reading. Okay? What is being exposed? That's the first card, right? This is looking at the truth that can no longer remain hidden. And this is about the shadow that's being revealed. We have Lover's card in reverse, right? So the truth that's being revealed is that there is something that's a little bit out of alignment with you in terms of practicing what you preach, right? Lover's card is Gemini energy, and typically when the Lover's card comes up, it's talking about inner alignment, personal alignment, being like your own twin flame, for lack of better words. But when it's in reverse, it means that there's a lack of intellectual and spiritual alignment within you, right? There could be a way in which you are speaking light and positivity into the people around you, but being really harsh and unyielding on yourself, right? But there's a really particular way that you are out of alignment, right? And the way that you treat you is not in alignment with how you treat or speak to other people. So that's what's going to be exposed at this time. What must be released? What is the attachment, belief, or energetic tie that is draining your power at this moment? We have the Two of Swords. You know what you need to do, and you know what you want to do. But I think that there's a part of you that has gotten so used to either feigning confusion or letting other people make big decisions or take the lead, and that's not serving you anymore, right? So what needs to be released with this Two of Swords is this understanding that you don't know enough to make decisions in real time, that you have to take a long time to make decisions, that time is on your favor. It's not. Actually, a lot of times when it comes to big decisions, the longer you sit in them, the more confusion you bring, right? So you have to release whatever it is that makes it hard for you to trust yourself to make big decisions, especially make big decisions quickly. What power is ready to be reclaimed? I love this. The Hangman. There's a shift in perspective that's happening for you, right? Pisces energy with the hangman. You are really, the power you are embracing is trusting your intuition further. That's the long and the short of it, right? The hangman can submit to difficult situations, not because they love difficulty, but because they trust themselves and they trust the insights that they will gain when they are in suspension. And I think with this coming right after the Two of Swords, the more you trust your intuition, the more it will bring you further into alignment with yourself. So whatever's going on in terms of that energetic misalignment will go away the more you trust your intuition. Okay? All right, Nicole, let me know if that was helpful for you. Let me know if that resonated. Is there anyone else? Thank you for the birthday wishes, Bertal. I appreciate it. I have had the most amazing birthday week and a half. My birthday is on the 23rd, but I always joke that my birthday starts on 4/20 and it ends on the 27th. But even though, yeah, people are still being kind to me and spoiling to me and calling me and checking on me, and I feel really loved and taken care of. Nobody believes my age. I keep telling people that I'm 43. Nobody believes me. So that helps the ego. But yeah, I had a beautiful birthday, and I want to say thank you for the birthday wishes. You seen Aloha in your dream? Oh, yeah, we got to talk about that offline. I want to know more about that dream. So I'm probably going to call you tomorrow and get in your business because I would really love to know what you dreamed. But let's see what's in store for you with the full moon. And if there's anyone else that would like a full moon reading, go ahead and send your love offering. If not, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up with Bertal. Ancestors, angels, ascended master spirits that walk with me. What is the nature of the venom that's being revealed for Bertal? How does that revelation turn into medicine for her under this full moon in Scorpio? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. I need to sit with this. Thank you for the reading. And if you feel free to text me as you're processing what came up about trusting yourself and trusting your intuition. Okay? You don't necessarily need to book a reading. You can just text me, Nicole, you have my number. But as you're processing this particular wisdom, just let me know. Okay? Aisha, I see your love offering, so I will do your reading after Bertal. Now, Bertal, what is being exposed for you? Hold on one second. All righty. So I think this is really interesting. What's being exposed, the truth that can no longer remain hidden for you, Bertal, is there are some realities around the alchemy of gratitude that are revealing themselves in your life, right? And you can't avoid it anymore. This is actually a good lesson, right? 9 of Cups. Things are going better for you in your life than you feel like they are. And here's the thing, when you have your moments of gratitude, you see that clearly, right? But when you're in the moments where it's hard to tap into gratitude, that's when the cups, this is one of my favorite representations of the 9 of Cups. The cups float away from you. It's hard for you to grasp them. You don't really see clearly, right? So what's being exposed and revealed to you now in this moment is about gratitude and how it functions alchemically, the kind of clarity it brings to your life, and the kind of strength it brings into your life in terms of your ability to master even the most difficult circumstances. Okay? What must be released? What is the attachment, belief, or energetic tie that is draining your power? Now, this is funny because this is coming right after the Nine of Cups. We got the Knight of Swords. You don't have to take on every battle. And even if you do have to take on battles, you don't have to take them on alone, right? That's the thing about the Knight of Swords. It's not just that they like to rush into battle. They like to rush into battle by themselves, right? I think that there's a lot of stuff that you feel like you got to do by yourself. You don't want to burden anybody. You just want to get through things quickly. And that sounds amazing. But part of what you should be grateful for is that people want to help you and people want to see you win. So there low key is no need to be in this Knight of Swords energy. What power is ready to be reclaimed? What strength becomes available when you tell the truth? You get to pull yourself out of that energy of indecision, right? The power that comes to you once you really learn to navigate your relationship to gratitude, once you start talking about the truth of what you experience, it takes a lot of the weight and the indecision off of you. It makes it so that you can see clearly enough to make succinct decisions instead of sitting in uncertainty. Okay? So that is your full moon reading. I hope that that was helpful for you. Adelaida, would you like a full moon reading as well, Adelaida? Because if so, I'll get to you after Aisha. Just let me know. So we'll do Aisha, Adelaida, and if there's anyone else, I'll get to them after that. Aisha, you are up next. Ancestors, angels, ascended masters, spirits that walk with me, my elevated ancestors. What does Aisha need to know at this time about the full moon? What is the wisdom that the full moon is going to reveal for her? What is the venom that's being released? And how does that venom turn into medicine for her? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. You be stressing yourself out for no reason and you don't ask for help. Like you literally don't let people help you. I will never forget, and I hope that you forgive me in advance for sharing this story, but I will never forget at the last retreat when you thought you lost your wallet. And gratefully it was just misplaced and you found it, but when you thought you lost your wallet, you got almost mad at the idea that everybody around you wanted to take care of you, Bertal. Like you were almost irritated that people wanted to step, like we was literally gonna let you be somewhere without money and resources. Like the help rejecting, I think, is a particular thing. Oh yeah, Aisha, I'm pulling your cards. I'm gonna do your cards right now. I'm sorry, I'm having multiple conversations at once. But yeah, you do be stressing yourself out for no reason, Bertal. Yeah, you do shut down when people try to help you. You're getting better at it, but Lord God, we still got a long way to go. Love you down. Okay, Aisha. So now I'm going to do your reading. Now, this is the venom in medicine spread. This is looking at what the full moon in Scorpio has in store for you, Aisha. Now, what is being exposed? What truth can no longer remain hidden? We have the Hangman. Now, I think this is an interesting card talking about truth that can no longer be hidden, right? So much of the suspension or the feeling of being stuck or stagnated that you deal with comes from the fact that you have to start looking at things differently. It's just that simple. And I think this full moon and the weekend and the energy of the full moon is really going to bring that home for you very clearly. you are not going to be able to come out of this energy of stagnation, of feeling like you're in suspension, until you have that hangman paradigm shift where you are able to look at your life from a different perspective. That's the only way you're going to be able to get out of feeling stuck, right? What must be released? What attachment, belief, or energetic tie is draining you? I've talked to you about this in a different way before. We have the Six of Wands in reverse. And when Six of Wands is upright, it's a card of influence. It's a card of your peer groups really, really wanting to see you win. But when it's in reverse, it's an energy of feeling like the opposite, feeling like you're surrounded by people who don't believe in you, who expect the worst of you, who are waiting for you to fall. Now, the reason why this belief needs to be released for you is because that's not your reality. The reversal of the Six of Wands is not your reality. Most of the people that know you, especially in your community, they believe in you and they want to see you win. So part of what you have to do is change from being in this reversal of the Six of Wands to really believing that people fuck with you and want to see you win, and that they see strength in you, and that they're excited about the next chapter for you. That's where you need to be. What power is ready to be reclaimed? What strength becomes available when you tell the truth? Eight of Wands. You will start to see momentum pick up on some of the things you've been planning for your life, right? Eight of Wands is quick change, forward movement, riding the wave of forward movement, progression, and momentum. So once you really embrace the ability to look at your circumstances differently, it's going to be easier for you to move forward on the execution of a lot of your goals. Okay? That is what the full moon in Scorpio is here to reveal to you and to help you work through. All right, Adelaida, are you still here? Aisha, let me know if that reading resonated with you. I have Adelaida here. I'm going to do Adelaida. If there's no one else that wants a reading, we'll wrap up with Adelaida. Just made a spill. But if there's anyone else that wants a reading, go ahead and send your love offering and then leave a comment below so that I know to take time for you, okay? Ancestors, angels, ascended master spirits that walk with me, my elevated ancestors. What does Adelaida need to know about the full moon in Scorpio? What wisdom is this full moon here to provide her? What will be revealed? What is the medicine that's being revealed to her at this time? Any wisdom shared is deeply appreciated. The Six of Wands reverse is a little confusing for you. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. If the Six of Wands upright means that you have a community of people around you that want to see you win, when it's in reverse, it's the opposite. It means that people aren't rooting for you or that they expect the least from you. And with it being in reverse, that's a false belief that, again, remember the question is, what is the belief you carry that needs to be released? So you need to release the belief that people don't see the best in you. You need to release the belief that people are expecting failure from you, or that you are going to hit a wall, or that you're not going to progress, because that's not true. That's not how people see you. I want to do Adelaida's reading now, though, so if you want to ask questions about that later offline, you're more than welcome to, Aisha. Okay, Adelaida, for you, in the first position of what is being exposed, what truth can no longer remain hidden, you are not a charity. Any other way to say it? You are not a charity. It's okay to have limits. It's okay to not want to do for everyone and everybody else. Um, it's a beautiful thing to be a giving person and a charitable person, but sometimes, especially when we are at our limit, we have to evaluate, why do we feel more comfortable giving to others before we give to ourselves, right? So that is a truth that's being exposed for you with the full moon in Scorpio. What are you hiding behind over giving to other people, right? What must be released? What attachment, belief, or energetic tie is draining your power? We have the Devil card, right? And I think it's brilliant that this is coming right after the Six of Pentacles, because for you, the Devil card is not so much substances, it's just what attachments or behaviors are controlling you. So even if you look at this artwork, right, it shows this guy with the crazy hair holding somebody like a puppet on strings. Your overgiving is low key the attachment, the vice that you are connected or addicted to, that actually is putting you in your lower vibration, right? There's a particular way where you feel more comfortable being sacrificial to take care of other people, where you will drop your own desires or responsibility to deal with other people. And again, it's coming up through the Devil card because it's an attachment that's not helping you move forward. It's keeping you stuck. What power is ready to be reclaimed? What strength becomes available when you tell the truth? Temperance, the stillness that provides us perspective, right? Being measured in how we show up, measured in how we expend energy and what we use energy for, right? This whole reading is showing me that there's a bit of scattered energy with you. And the only reason why the energy is scattered is because you may be investing too much into other people. And it's coming from a good place, but this is energy that needs to be focused on and invested in you right now, right? So this habit that started off as a good thing coming from a good place has now spiraled into Devil card energy, a negative attachment, because it ends up being a screen that prevents you from focusing on yourself and taking inventory, again, evaluation, temperance of your life and what your needs are at the moment. All right. I hope that this was helpful. I really enjoyed our conversation about both the full moon as well as about Meg and Klay. I hope you guys have a phenomenal weekend. I will be back here on Sunday at 7:30 p.m. EST, like I am every Sunday, to give the weekly energy reading. Just a heads up for people. Today is literally the last day to get the discounts for the natal chart reading and the shadow work consultations. They will go back to their original price tomorrow. But the Taurus season sale is still going. So if you want to book a reading, if you want to purchase an amulet, if you want to purchase classes or any of my products, if you place an order over $65 at my website, soleilconjureshop.com, you can use code TAURUS, TAURUS, to get 20% off of your order. This is a sale that is going to last all of Taurus season. So yes, you do have another 2.5 weeks to use this code, but use it when you feel ready, okay? This also, not last round of Rich Spirit. 2 days left to sign up for Rich Spirit. That's it. Rich Spirit starts on Monday. Deadline to sign up Saturday. If you want to join us, click the link below. Love you all. Good night. See you on Sunday. Bye.